When a narcissist knows that you know, they lose control. What manipulations does a narcissist use and how can you break free? We'll talk about all of this in my video. A narcissist is a person with a very fragile self-esteem, a delicate inner world that they try to compensate for through manipulation and control over others. So, a narcissist needs to be on a pedestal, surrounded by admiration and attention, using manipulations aimed at maintaining their status. So, the narcissist must be on a pedestal, surrounded by admiration and attention, manipulation aimed at maintaining his status. And even if he understands that it's just an illusion, that illusion of being the best, special, unique, irreplaceable, and so on, the list of epithets can go on forever. He really enjoys this game. When a narcissist loses control, the game is over for him and he feels like he has no power over you. And at that moment, his self-esteem takes a huge hit. He feels helpless and vulnerable. He can be overwhelmed by panic attacks. And at that moment, he might use aggression to regain control over you. So when you realize that you're actually dealing with a narcissist, at that moment, you become a threat to them because they're exposed. The manipulations they used on you before won't work anymore. And at that moment, their position weakens significantly and their self-confidence plummets to near zero. And that's why aggression is the best defense mechanism for a narcissist. They urgently need to regain control over you, and there are various tools they might use depending on how the narcissist reacts to losing control. And the first is aggression and attack. He will verbally attack you, he will humiliate you, he will intimidate you, and he will try any methods that can affect you. The main thing is to make you feel, for example, guilty at this moment and quickly regain control. If the narcissist understands that aggression and attack do not work, he understands that you are no longer susceptible to his manipulation, then he might start to really tear down your self-esteem, lowering it as much as he can to basically crush you. Again, a victim's diminished self-esteem helps him control the victim. So when a narcissist tries to destroy your self-esteem in a big way and you don't fall for his tricks, and he sees that you don't respond in any way, then it's a trap for the narcissist. But if you fall into this trap, then he regains his power over you through criticism and ridicule. He needs to make you feel like you deserve approval again, like you're living that life again, where you have low value. Do you wait for his approval? Whatever the narcissist says, you must absorb and accept because what he says is the only true one. And you should just stand there with admiring eyes and watch how wonderful he is and how he allows you to be around him. So if you realize that someone close to you is trying to undermine your self-esteem in various ways, pay attention. What is this person doing? Next, passive aggression. If the narcissist's aggressive methods aren't working, the self-esteem undermining tactic he might try using a mechanism like passive aggression. He may, for example, remain silent for a while. He may ignore you. He may use sarcasm. He may weave intrigues. Behind your back, he can arrange various conspiracies. He can slander you so that you cannot withstand this pressure and return to the narcissist on the same terms as before. And if you realize that in someone's eyes, you're constantly doing something wrong and you often find yourself having to justify your actions, pay attention. Maybe that person is the very manipulative narcissist. That's why the narcissist needs to regain control so that you will look into his mouth, so that you will justify your slightest actions, which in principle are nothing. They don't carry any real weight, but the narcissist doesn't like them. All the decisions you make without the narcissist's involvement will automatically not sit well with him and will be criticized. And with any decisions, you'll find yourself going to the narcissist, waiting for his approval. At that moment, the victim's self-esteem is completely shattered. But if you've realized that you're dealing with a narcissist and you no longer want to play those games, when the narcissist tries to make you feel guilty again, and you find yourself thinking that you want his approval or to justify yourself, stop right there. Otherwise, the narcissist's actions will never end and emotional outbursts. This is, let's say, the last resort for the narcissist, having used all his tricks and realizing that they aren't working. The narcissist can use emotional outbursts. This is necessary to make you feel guilty and to portray himself as the victim. What's the point of this? To shift the focus of attention, again from you to him. And then it's easier to control you. It's especially easy to control someone when they're made to feel guilty. When Narcissus has instilled guilt for his life, for his condition in the victim, then she can be controlled. You can control her however you want. From then on, she will act only as the narcissist tells her to, just to avoid feeling painful emotions. For example, such as a feeling of guilt. And loss of control for a narcissist is equal to a feeling of helplessness at the moment when he realizes that no mechanisms, your address no longer holds any power. When he realizes that you're no longer under his control and your life has started to belong only to you, at that moment, he feels helpless and he loses the ability to control his own reality. And for the narcissist, that's the scariest thing. After all, he's used to playing with people to feel what he wants to feel. So, how do you break free? The first thing you need to do is accept the fact of manipulation. If you recognize certain traits of a narcissist nearby, if you realize that you're living in negative emotions, feeling trampled, lost, and maybe even have given up on yourself, forgotten your desires and feelings, if you've unlearned how to make decisions, if you're constantly afraid and stuck in endless anxiety, you might be facing that very narcissist. By observing the narcissist, you'll understand what mechanisms he uses. Once you understand that you're dealing with a manipulator, you'll know what to do next. Next, emotional distance. In fact, emotional distance is a key step to freedom. The moment you realize that you're dealing with a narcissist and that you can't let them control you anymore, that's when the narcissist loses all power over you. When you shut him out like a wall. When you start to recognize the manipulations he's trying to direct at you and you don't react at all, it's really important to hold your ground. When the narcissist tries to push your buttons, what he knows about you, what he used to take advantage of before, for example, on your self-esteem, on feelings of guilt or helplessness, the narcissist knows the mechanisms that work in your favor. And you know them too if you analyze your life and your interactions with the narcissist. So when you create emotional distance and don't react to their manipulations, that's when all the narcissist's power over you starts to break down. Everything falls apart. His belief in himself crumbles and the understanding that it won't be like it was before. Next, establishing clear boundaries. At the moment you've created emotional distance and stopped reacting the way you used to, that's when you can set clear boundaries and explain how people can and cannot treat you. The narcissist will try to violate these boundaries and perhaps repeatedly. You need to be able to stand your ground the moment the narcissist realizes that things can't go back to the way they were before and the boundaries have become inviolable. He will lose all power over you. And the last thing, stop playing by his rules. You can live your life. You can live your life the way you want. If there's someone nearby, and it doesn't have to be men, often narcissists can be friends, girlfriends, or even relatives who assert themselves at the expense of their close ones, at the expense of friends, and they often end up destroying the person who is nearby. So here it is. When you find such a person nearby, and understand that you will no longer play this game, you refuse to play by the rules that were once dictated to you, when you do not react to the manipulations that were before, when you shift all the focus of attention from the outside to yourself, when you begin to think about yourself, when you begin to cultivate your self-esteem, how good it would be for you, how you would like to live your life, and in what emotions you would like to live, without reacting to the attacks of the narcissist, you will gradually come to your senses and build for yourself a new picture of your reality. That's all I have for this video. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Leave a comment about what you'd like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell. And goodbye, everyone.